The overwhelming response to the events of the day in cities around the country and indeed around the world has been one of panic. In this city, the panic has given way to full-blown hysteria. Although the national, state, and local government officials are steadfastly declaring that there is no cause for panic and that people should remain in their homes, thousands and thousands of citizens of this metropolis are fleeing the city by any means at their disposal. Officials say that this flight may only increase the risk of harm to people as a result of an unplanned and unauthorized evacuation. The mayor's office is reporting that certain parts of town have experienced looting and vandalism. Stay tuned for more breaking headlines from Leadline News.
So, how do you open up your heart and mind enough to the world in a way that makes you strong enough to live up to your ideals?
Maybe you have to change your ideals. I mean, if you don't like the results, then change the expectations.
These are the right ideals.
Well, then how do you make them work? How do you make compassion and pacifism stand up to hatred and violence?
That's what turning the other cheek means. It's saying that the greater strength is to be found within instead of the fist or the sword. The weak are the ones who turn to violence because that path is easy. The more difficult path is the path of love.
Well, I gotta be honest. I don't feel like having compassion for anybody. I mean, I'd like to have compassion for those who died and those who are still dying and their families, but I'm just numb. I mean, how could I have compassion for the people who did this when I can't even imagine the level of compassion required for those who deserve it? Now, anger, that's another story. I mean, when my sister died, I just lived on anger. It seemed to make sense. I mean, one minute she's getting into her car, and the next minute she's dead with a bullet in her chest because she couldn't get out of the car fast enough for the guy who was trying to steal it. How could I have compassion for the guy who did that? I couldn't. But I could hate him. And I know that doesn't last, but for a while at least it helped. Maybe that's what we need to do in order to survive this. Just ride out the anger.
What if you act out of that anger? What would have happened if you had killed the guy that caused your sister's death? Would that have helped?
I don't know. I know it would have made me feel better. I know that.
Look, I understand what you're saying, Gabe. I wanted the guy dead too. But I just don't think that that's the right response. It's difficult. It's so difficult. I want to feel these things. I want to believe them, but I can't quite get there. This morning, while it was happening, it dawned on me. I was feeling this wave of compassion for all the people dying and for their loved ones. And then I realized this is happening every single day, every minute. Children are dying in pain from starvation and war. Every day, men and women are being driven out of their homes or killed in armed conflict, or dying from malaria or AIDS or some other disease. And the point of it is that this is happening every day. And I was completely oblivious to it.
I can't even imagine that much compassion.
Neither can I.